Remember when they went before the Senate and they all said that tobacco wasn't addictive?
And there's no evidence it is. Other than the fact that if I go 8 hours without it, I get really stressed and annoyed and in a bad mood, and
Yeah.
But
you're saying that, and I was about to mute myself and go smoke a cigarette. I was like, "Can I get away with it? I'm fucking fiending, dude." They're not addictive. I only need one every 45 minutes. What are you talking about?
My I guess step granddad, I would call him. He's since passed away, but he was a doctor, and like back in the late 50s, early 60s, he was in some magazine ad, like smoking a cigarette, and the whole ad was about how, like, smoking helped develop your lungs and encourage kids to start smoking early, and it built stronger bodies. Like it was like literally like a healthy, exactly. It was like a healthy thing to start smoking, like, blow cigarette smoke in your baby's face for lung development, build strong babies, America. And it was just this like completely, like they knew it was bad, but they were just like, here you go, make us some more money.
It's fun.
Have you ever seen the old ad? It's for a new cigarette filter. They have asbestos in them.
Yeah.
They've put asbestos in the cigarette filters. Something that the last thing that you'd ever want to inhale, right in something that you inhale through. Like we just didn't get it. And then the guy who came up with lead for gasoline also came up with some forever chemical aerosol. And historians say that no one human has ever damaged the climate or as severely as that one human being. Like his whole thing was
not to plug my own YouTube channel, King Trout on YouTube, but I did make a video about that guy.
Oh, I may be quoting your video even.
Oh,
that guy.
I forgot his name, but yeah, he did. He added
Eric the Poisoner.
Eric the Poisoner. He added a tetraethyl lead to gasoline as an anti-knocking compound, which was the reason for like the spike in violent crime. There were all those serial killers in the 70s, Son of Sam, fucking
do you believe that
guy up in Milwaukee? Oh, 110%.
It was in the paint too. You got to keep that in mind, especially in low income areas. We had a guest that blamed like impoverished inner city neighborhoods today on lead paint in the 70s. Seems a little far reaching, but
yeah, I think there's maybe another factor, but we're not going to touch that. But what's his name? Dahmer, like all of that. They literally call it like the golden age of serial killers. And it was all of these people who in the 50s, like the height of tetraethyl lead being in gasoline. So aerosolized lead, and it's a bone seeker is what they call it, the same way like calcium is. And it binds itself to the bones in your body, and your brain processes it, I think, in the same way as like healthy fats. So like if you eat, or you get like avocado oil or whatever, or olive oil, it's good for your brain, or like fish oil. Your brain processes or puts lead in those same receptors, and it literally makes you retarded. Like it like, I'm not exaggerating, not joking at all. Like if your IQ is like 120, like you're above average, you're a smart guy, not a fart smeller, you're a smart fella. It'll drop your IQ down to like 70, and it also gives you like 70 violent tendencies. Yeah, it makes you retarded. And so he did that, and then he did what's the chemical that was in hairspray for forever? CFCs?
Yeah, those aerosols that just ruin the ozone layer.
Yeah, they would bind to ozone molecules, and they would like expand out, they cause a chemical reaction and explode out, and then the explosion would cause like the same reaction over and over again. So like one molecule of CFCs would cause like 10,000 molecules of ozone to evaporate, and so it caused this like giant fuck off hole in the ozone layer. It was like the only thing that the world has ever agreed on, where like we need to stop using these things.
Yeah,
and we cut out CFCs, and that ended that. I'll have to look up his name. I made a YouTube video about this
going
guy.
From 120 IQ to 70, you'd have to notice things along the way, right?
Well, I mean, years ago, I still shoot guns, but back in the day, I shot all the time, was a member of the gun club, shot every day after work. It was like going to the gym to go out and blow about a couple hundred caps. And like I started having all these like gastro issues and like headaches and stuff like that. And same deal. Like I went to the doctor, like, what's wrong with me? And they're like, dude, your lead levels are like cranked. And I'm sure, which is probably why I'm not as bright anymore. But like, yeah, same thing just from the, bullets and stuff flying around. I mean, lead's some nasty stuff. And like there's this weird time between like the late 1800s and the late 1900s where like our industrial growth was outgrowing our scientific knowledge. Kind of like in the early, 20th century, you had all those like uranium resorts and uranium shakes, and people are like, putting it in toothpaste and milkshakes and stuff. And like people were just destroying themselves.
Silverware.
Have you ever seen that? There was a device in shoe stores that would x-ray your foot. So you could you put your foot in it and you would see what size you were by seeing the bones through the fucking thing. They were radiating people to make sure their boots fit.
Gosh. And it makes you wonder, like, what are we doing now? Of course, there's like the whole like cell phone signals, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like what are we microplastics? Yeah, what are we doing now that 50 years from now we're going to be like, what were we thinking?
It's got plastic 110%. We know it's made from petroleum, which we know is a carcinogen, and it's everywhere all the time. Like I just went to pick up my mouse and the cord ripped out. Like I've been touching my mouse, which is made out of fucking plastic. 150 years from now, they're going to be mocking us for how much we surrounded ourselves with fucking plastic.
That and I don't know if it'll pan out, but microwaves just seem so convenient. There has to be something bad.
No, they're safe.
They're so wonderful and convenient and useful that there's no way we're getting that good of a gamble on them.
Well, the radiation level is like in the same category. It's very close to visible light. Like it's just faster than visible light. You got to be worried about slow shit on the other end, like gamma or beta and gamma radiation. Thomas Midgley Jr., by the way, is the name of the guy who I can't remember.
Thomas what Jr.?
Thomas Midgley Jr. No more feedback on my end. Why is that?
No more feedback. Turns out it wasn't my mic, Zach. All good. Yeah.
I wonder about with lead, because we know how bad it can be, but I liked Christopher's story. It's a shame his mic is doing that. We'll have him back another time, try to get that fixed. Maybe we'll just buy him a freaking mic. Jesus. But I think about the Roman Empire and like the fall of the Roman Empire and how they had all of that lead piping. I watched a video the other day on how they made it. It was fascinating how they formed the two lead pipes together and everything. That had to contribute in some way, no?
Well, I talk about that in the that Thomas Midgley Jr. video that I made, because I was like, the Romans didn't know that lead was bad for them and all their pipes were made out of it. And some like ancient Roman historian I talked to recently was like, no, it's actually fine because they were running water pipes. They don't work. It's not an on-demand system like ours is. There's never any still water sitting there. So it never, it absorbs some of the lead, but it's not.
But think about it. I guess I don't know the science, but behind how long water needs to be in contact with a lead pipe to absorb some water, but it's going to be in that pipe traveling for a long time because it's coming from the source of water all the way to the city. I don't know how long the lead.
But a lot of it wasn't lead pipe. Like they were in stone aqueducts.
Yeah, like terracotta.
Or terracotta, like leading up to the pipe.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the pipe was, but it wasn't.
That's what I'm getting at.
Chain. Yeah.
A lot of it was just open.
Well, they did pretty well for a long time, the Romans. Like if it would have been that serious, like they would have started getting retarded around the time of I don't know, Marcus Aurelius.
I think they kind of did though.
You would think,
which I guess ironically they did start getting retarded at the end of Marcus Aurelius's reign. That's why he was a Stoic, because he was ruling over what he could see would be the end.
How much water do you think a Roman aristocrat actually drank in a day, though? Really?
Mostly wine. It had to have been
mostly wine. Like you hear about the diets in the ancient world, and it'd be like, they'd eat an entire loaf of bread and 2 bottles of wine a day. That was what the average peasant ate. It's like, what the fuck? How did they? No wonder they all died at 30.
No protein, no animal fats, protein just loaded on carbs and wine.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
But their wine was weak as hell, wasn't it? Because they added like a bunch of parts of water to wine.
Yeah, they watered it down.
So it's not what we think is wine.
They were like wining their water. They weren't really watering their wine.
That makes sense. Kind of like grog on a ship, where you mix the brandy with the water to keep it,
rum
bacteria out.
Yeah, like so far as I understand.
Rum, yeah, not brandy.